Today's top picks from our commentary on Reuters Breaking Views this Friday: why Eurobank rescue doesn't have to shame Spain, and UK bosses play a dangerous game of hire me or fire me. This, of course, ahead of WPP's meeting in Dublin next week. Chris Hughes is with me. We'll come on to Sir Martin Sorrell in just a second. But to Spain, looks like we're going to get something over the weekend. They seem to be making a big deal of this, right? But you're saying actually take the EFSF money and go with it.
Clearly, we've been saying for a while that it's in Spain's interest to take a bailout and do so decisively. Now, what does that mean? That means a credible number, although in a sense, actually, the actual number, whether it's sort of, 40 billion, 60 billion, is somewhat academic in that, once they're in the process, they can get more. Although I think at the outset, it's got to be a big number. Some people are talking about 30 billion. That may not be enough.
Well, it goes up to 90, right? Or 100.
Given the scale of the problems at the banks, although Pierre Briançon, who's covering this for us today, is saying, look, once they're actually in, once they've crossed the Rubicon and they've got access to EFSF funds, then, they can go back for more.
But
so it's really all about
it doesn't have to shame Spain. I mean, who's saying it is going to shame Spain apart from the Spanish?
Well, clearly, it depends on how it's done. It's all about the terms, and the thing to look out for here is the terms and the conditionality around it, and the route whereby this money is going into the banks. It can go in via the so-called FROB, which is a fund that could bail out the banks. And so it doesn't have to be it doesn't actually have to be a sort of jumbo bailout direct to the Spanish government that, in some way sort of lumps them together with Greece. There's a way of doing this in size and credibly, which, if you like, doesn't make them look like Greece.
Okay, let's leave that. We've talked a lot about that. Let's talk about CEO pay. I mean, we've talked a lot about that as well, but it's pertinent because of this WPP meeting next week at which Martin Sorrell is going to be. He's written about this in the FT. There seems to be a lot of hoo-ha about this. Let me get something straight here. So Martin Sorrell is saying because he is an owner of WPP, he deserves to be paid as well as he is. But every shareholder is an owner of WPP.
He's justifying his increase in pay mainly on that basis. He actually finds it very offensive that certain shareholders are saying that he behaves like an owner. Although, perhaps what they're saying is that he behaves like the owner. He's very concerned to say, no, look, I behave like an owner, and isn't that the point? And last night we had Ivan Glasenberg, the boss of Glencore, making a very similar point, saying, look, we want entrepreneurs, and that means paying them a lot and paying them a lot in stock. And so, Sir Martin seems to have roped Ivan to the cause here. But I think there's an important distinction to be made, as you suggest, between a co-owner, which is a CEO who's got some shares and is another shareholder alongside the institutions and the retail shareholders,
and an entrepreneur who set up his own business,
and an entrepreneur who owns the firm, it's a family firm, controls it. They're very different behaviours. If you actually are the owner of a firm, you behave in a different way to a co-owner. So, this debate shouldn't be, this O word is being used slightly sloppily. There's a big difference between a co-owner and an owner.
Will it come back to bite Simon?
Well, we'll see. It looks like there is going to be a big protest. So the question is, how does the company respond to that? But now to take what Ivan Glasenberg is saying, the E word, entrepreneurship. They want to get entrepreneurial managers in, and that's why you kind of want to pay Mick Davis, the ex-Strata boss, a lot of money to stay if they go ahead with this merger. Are all entrepreneurs motivated purely by money? I'm not so sure. Did Bill Gates build Microsoft going, I want to build a multi-billion-dollar company? No, he was obsessed by software. There's a lot. The language is being used quite sloppily in this debate.
Okay. Chris, thanks very much indeed. That's it for more Agenda Setting Insight. Watch our US Breaking Views show, 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 BST every day. That's live. Of course, you can find it on demand on all the Reuters platforms. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.